The Four Realms of Reality, the Ladder of Worlds. Part 1. Nasut, Physical Plane. What if the world you see is not the destination, but the disguise? Welcome, seekers of truth, to Positive Vortex. In this first chapter, we descend into Nasut, the realm of flesh, form, and forgetting. But this is no ordinary descent. For Earth is not merely a planet, it is a sacred mirror, a divine manuscript written in stone and breath. This is the stage where the soul forgets so it may remember. Where matter is not the opposite of spirit, but its slowest vibration. Where suffering becomes the seed of awakening, and even death becomes a doorway. Open your inner eye. The world you thought was mundane is speaking in symbols. And it's time you remembered how to read them. Welcome to Nasut, the realm of form, flesh, and forgetting. The threshold of the soul's descent and the sacred mirror of return. The journey begins now.
The birth of Earth.
In the beginning, there was silence. A vast stillness across the infinite canvas of existence. Somewhere between light and darkness, between breath and no breath. In a realm beyond time, a subtle spark shimmered. That spark would become a planet, a sanctuary of spirit clothed in matter. That spark was Earth. Nasut, our Earth, our cradle and theater of experience. A blue jewel tucked away in a quiet corner of the cosmos. A land of form, of rhythm, of shadow, and of meaning. Time unfolded, the fires calmed, waters danced, mountains lifted their heads. And life, slow and ancient, rose from the ocean floor and kissed the sky. From single cells to symphonies of neurons, from choral to consciousness, life evolved until it asked its first question. And in that question, a new being was born, the human.
Chapter 1. The mystical definition of Nasut.
Nasut is the outermost veil of reality. The realm of Alam al-Mulk, the world of dominion. The kingdom of bodies and breath, where the unseen becomes seen. It is the lowest but most comprehensive realm, because in it, the echoes of the higher realms gather and reflect. To the eye that sees only surfaces, Nasut is ordinary. But to the mystic, Nasut is a coded manuscript, written by the pen of the divine, where every grain of sand contains libraries of light. The world is a mirror in which the divine contemplates itself. Ibn Arabi. In this sense, Nasut is not illusion, but symbol, a reality composed of signs, ayat, that point to deeper truths. This is the world of plants, animals, humans, stars, and yet it is also the world of veiling. The soul arrives here like a drop in an ocean, encased in layers of forgetfulness. But the purpose is not to stay blind. It is to remember.
Chapter 2. Sadras Revolution. Matter is light.
In traditional philosophy, the material world was often seen as the lowest or even the least real. But Mulla Sadra, the luminous Persian sage of Shiraz, changed everything. He taught that all existence is light, but it flows in degrees. What we call matter is not darkness. It is low-frequency light, clothed in opacity.
Existence is light, graded in degrees. Even darkness is a form of diminished light. Mulla Sadra.
This idea, Tashkik al-Wujud, gradation of being, tells us that everything, from rocks to angels, is part of the same continuum. Only their degree of luminosity differs. And through substantial motion, al-harakat, al-jawhariyah. Sadra taught that even material substances are not static. They are inwardly evolving, yearning toward perfection. Thus, Nasut is not a fallen place. It is a womb of ascension, a dynamic process in which the soul unfolds.
Chapter 3. The Structure of Nasut.
Let us now examine the anatomy of Nasut, not merely as geography, but as a spiritual architecture. The four elements. Earth, the container, stability, form, structure. Water, the flow, emotion, cleansing, intuition. Air, the messenger, thought, breath, communication. Fire, the transformer, passion, power, renewal. These are not mere substances. They are cosmic principles, present in nature, in the body, and in the psyche, time and space. Nasut is governed by chronos, linear time, and topos, location. This is the domain of cause and effect, where karma plays out, and every action echoes in consequence. Yet time in Nasut is not punishment. It is the great teacher, a stage for the soul to learn patience, rhythm, and surrender. Duality and division. Nasut is the realm of opposites. Light versus dark. Male versus female. Good versus evil. Pleasure versus pain. In this realm, the soul learns discernment. Unity is hidden behind contrast. Without shadow, the light could not be perceived.
God created the world in pairs so that you may know unity by contrast. Quran 51:49. Chapter 4. The Sacred Function of Nasut.
Why would the infinite descend into form? Why would light clothe itself in bones and nerves? Because Nasut is the crucible of becoming. It is here that the soul encounters resistance and gains strength, experiences loss and discovers what cannot be lost, feels longing and remembers its origin. Just as metal is forged in fire, so too is the human spirit forged in difficulty. Every illness purifies attachment. Every heartbreak humbles the heart. Every limitation becomes the seed of liberation.
The wound is the place where the light enters you. Rumi. Chapter 5. The Illusion of Finality.
The great trap of Nasut is to believe it is all that exists. The senses whisper, "This is it. What you see is all there is." But the soul knows better. To awaken is to recognize that form is veil, that the surface conceals the depth, that behind the visible, the invisible watches. In ancient mystery schools, the initiate's first task was to pierce the illusion of appearances. The body is not the self. The role is not the essence. This world is not the whole cosmos.
The body is the veil of the soul, but also its teacher, Mulla Sadra. Chapter 6. The Soul's Awakening in Nasut.
The soul once descended must remember. This remembrance happens in stages. Hubat, descent. The soul forgets and incarnates. Ghafla, heedlessness. It identifies with ego and matter. Yadika, stirring. Pain, dreams, synchronicity, stir awareness. Dika, remembrance. The heart begins to awaken. Kashf, unveiling. The world reveals its symbolic nature. Tajalli, illumination. The soul shines through matter like stained glass. This is the alchemy of Nasut. From clay to clarity. From forgetfulness to divine sight.
Chapter 7. Nasut as a portal, not a prison.
Nasut is not exile, it is passage. It is the threshold that leads inwards, if you know how to look. The modern materialist sees Earth as raw matter, governed only by chance and mechanical laws. The mystic, however, reads the same Earth as a book, each moment a verse, each hardship a glyph, each creature a teacher. When the winds howl, they are not merely weather. They are inner turbulence made audible. When a flower blooms, it is not merely botany. It is beauty choosing form. This is the realm of signs, ayat.
We shall show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth. Quran 41:53.
The rose is not just a flower, it is the unfolding of being. The night is not just darkness, it is the cloak of gestation. The thunderstorm is not just meteorology, it is divine speech, roaring through the heavens. To those who awaken, the world begins to speak.
God speaks to man in the language of events. Carl Jung.
Everything in Nasut is encoded. The deeper question is, are you decoding it?
Chapter 8. Earth as the Womb of Ascension.
Every prophet, every sage, every awakened soul began the journey here, on this earth, in this realm of form. Jesus walked upon this soil. Muhammad received revelation in a desert cave. The Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, rooted in Nasut, yet reaching into nirvana. They did not escape the world, they transfigured it. Even the Quran confirms his origin.
We created man from clay and breathed into him of our spirit. Quran 15:29.
The clay is not separate from spirit, it is its chosen vessel. Thus, your bones are sacred, your breath is sacred, your tears are sacred. The mystics teach that the earth is a mirror. It reflects not what you see, but how you see. To the blind, it is dead. To the awakened, it is alive with divine presence. This is why saints and lovers of God find joy in gardens, in deserts, in simple bread, in a child's laughter. For they have seen the face of the beloved in the ordinary.
Chapter 9. The Earthly Echo of Divine Purpose.
The soul did not come here by accident. It came with a task.
I did not create jinn and mankind except to know me. Quran 51:56.
To know God, not through abstraction but through encounter, through being hungry and then fed, through being broken and then mended, through being separate and then reunited. Every pain you experience is a part of your curriculum. Every joy is a page in your soul's textbook. In ancient Persian cosmology, it is said, man is the mirror of both worlds. He carries the imprint of heaven, but is shaped by the dust of earth. You are not just a creature on this planet. You are the link between realms, a traveler passing through matter on your way back to meaning.
Chapter 10. The Sacred Science of Suffering.
Why is there suffering in Nasut? If earth is divine, why do we bleed? Because suffering is not meaningless, it is the alchemy of awakening. Suffering burns the ego, it humbles the false self, it clears the fog of distraction.
When God loves a servant, he afflicts them. Hadith.
The mystics do not romanticize pain, but they do recognize its role. Suffering makes visible what was hidden. It collapses illusions. It opens the heart. Without winter, spring would not feel like resurrection. Without death, life would not feel like miracle.
The wound is the place where the light enters you. Rumi.
In this view, every heartbreak is not a tragedy, but an initiation. Every illness is not punishment, but purification. And every dark night is a gate to dawn.
Chapter 11. Death as the First Awakening.
Death, the word that ends all conversations. And yet for the seeker, death is the first true beginning. In Nasut, death is feared. It is the unknown, the end. But in esoteric teachings, death is simply unveiling.
It is God who receives the souls at the time of death. Quran 39:42.
When the soul leaves the body, it returns to its origin, not to nothingness, but to the sea of light. The mystics teach that we die many times before we die. When illusions are shattered, when ego is broken, when false identities are peeled away. These are small deaths, and they prepare us for the final one. Death is the bridge between Nasut and Malakut, the material and the imaginal, the form and the meaning. And in that moment, what you loved, remembered, and lived becomes your light.
Final reflection. The return through Nasut.
Religions say we began in paradise, but our descent to earth was not exile, it was opportunity, a test, a story, a sacred dream.
The price of the soul is the secret of love. If you say no, I will still pay. Rumi.
Could this life be only for survival? Could such a magnificent intelligence as the human heart exist only to pay bills? No, you were made for more. You are on a journey from soil to stars, from forgetting to remembrance, from Nasut to Malakut, and death is not the end. It is the gate, the whisper, the return.
We came from the heavens, and through earth we are journeying home. Call to ascent.
The journey begins here in Nasut, but it does not end here. You are the soul in the body, the light in the shadow, the silence behind the storm. Join us in part 2, Malakut, the realm of spirit, symbols, and subtle forms. Subscribe to Positive Vortex and walk the path beyond the veil, where the body becomes light and the light becomes home.